In this lesson, we will learn how to use the music features in Android and build a music player. So we will start with just adding a few things to our resources. So the first thing I will do is I will take some icons and add them to drawable, and the purpose is that we will be using these icons in our app later. The other thing we will do is we will just go to resources and create a folder. So I will just create a folder, say a new directory, and let's say call it raw. So the objective of this directory is it will hold all the raw media, and I will just go and copy and paste a few media files here. So I have pasted a few media files here. So these are say MP3 files, and we will be using them in our music player. So with this done, we will now start designing our XMLs and layouts. So I will just go to my layouts, and here we will just go ahead and add a list view. So why are we adding a list view? We will add a list view because in this list view we will just show all our music items. So we have added a list view with width match underscore parent, and height also as match underscore parent. So in this list view we will be showing all the music that we want to be played. For this list view we will define a custom layout, so where we will show each music item. So for that we will add a new layout resource file, and let's say we name this resource file as say music underscore item dot xml. So we have named this music layout file as item underscore xml, music underscore item dot xml, and let us start now to design this file. So here we have the default definition that we have got from here, and we will design this using the XML. So instead of designing it out there, we will design it using XML. So we just need, so the XML Android has been added here. We will also add a couple of other properties here. So XML ns _tools. So tools is equal to HTTP, and we will just add our tools, and we will also add XML ns :app, and this we will add as HTTP res auto. So with this we will now just start adding items to our constraint layout. So what we will use here is what we refer to as a relative layout. So a relative layout helps us add items relative to each other, and we will make its height as match underscore parent and its width and height as match underscore parent. And we will also add a couple of elements to the relative layout. So the first element we will add to it is an image view. So image view, because at the left of it we just want to show a music icon, so we will add an image view, and let's say the height and width we want to give it is say 50 dp. So we have added the height and width of this image view. Let's set the other properties of this image view. So the next property we want to set is, say, Android underscore colon ID. So which is the image we want to show here? So let us put it as ID slash, and what we want to give it as, say, the ID, say, let's just call it image view. So this is the ID we typically define when we use it. So the ID of this image view we have given it, and let us now also align it. So define the alignments. So Android colon align parent start. So what it says is, how is it aligned with the parent start? So it is aligned with the parent start, so we set it as true. And the other thing we need to specify in this case is align underscore layout parent top. So it will be aligned to the start and top of the parent. So this means this image view will come on the top left of the relative layout. Now that we have added this image view, we will now add a text view to it. So this text view, why are we adding a text view? So this will show us the song name, and we will add another text view which will show us the name of the artist. So let us add a text view. Let's say the width we want to give to it is, say, wrap underscore content. Height is also wrap underscore content. The ID of this text view is, say, let's give it an ID, and let's say call it for simplicity text view. And what are the other properties we want to give it? So we want to give it a property, say, how does it align? So Android colon layout align top. So how does it align? It aligns with the top of the image view. So what is the ID of the image view? The ID of the image view we supply here, and we will say it aligns with image view. So this means the top of this text view aligns with the image view. And then let us just set a couple of more properties to it. So let's say Android colon, we will say layout margin start. So what is the kind of margin we are giving here? So margin start, and let us say give it 14 dp. So we have just defined a little bit of margin that we want this to have. And once we have defined the margin, let's see if we want to define any other property. So let's say what is the text we want to give it. So Android colon text. So this we wanted to call this, say, the song name. So this is the default text we have supplied to it. And we also need to, say, give it the text size. So Android colon text size, and text size, say, we want to give it as, say, 20 sp. So we have given the text size also, and we have aligned it to the top, and we also want to say where is it placed. So it is placed to the after the image. So how do we say that? So there is a property, say, to end of. So it is to the end of the image view. So this text view will come after the image view. So with this we have designed our song piece. Let us now add our next item that we want to add here. So the next is we want to show the name of the artist. So let us design that. Again, we will give it as wrap underscore content, layout and height. Let's define the ID. So Android ID is equal to, let's say, call it text view 2. So we have defined the ID as text view 2. Let us now define more properties of this. So how will it align? It will align again with the start of the text view. So let's say we want this to come just below the earlier text view, the song name text view. So we will just say it will align with the layout align start. So layout align, it will start aligning with the text view, and then what is it? It will come below. We want it to come below the song name. So how will we specify that? So layout below. So we will use layout below. So it is below the text view. And what is the default text? So Android text, let's say, is artist name. So that is the default text we want to give it. And we also want to set its text size. So let's say tools text size, and we set it as, say, slightly smaller than the song name at, say, 18 SP. So here we had made a mistake. So this should not be Android text size. It should be tools text size. So it's defined in tools. So now we have designed our second text view. Now after we have designed our second text view, what do we need below it? We need our buttons to play and stop the song. So let's put those buttons in. So we will put an image view. And what are the parameters of this image view? So we will give, say, let's specify some height and width for it. So let's say we will give it 30 dp as width, and let's say the height we specify is, say, 40 dp. What is its ID? Let's say the ID we give it as @ ID plus ID. That's it. And we give it the ID, say, let's call it image view 3. So it's a random ID that we have given it. Now how will it align? It will align with the top of, so there are two parts we want to define, the play button and the stop button. So this is the player button. So how will this play button align? So let's define its alignment. So Android layout align top. So layout align top would be layout align top, and it will align with the image view, the first image view that we had given. And then it would be after the text views. So we need to define it after the text views. So how do we define it after the text views? So let's say we give it to the, so let's see how do we define it. So let's see, we define it with respect to Let's first define another image view, and this is the stop button. So let's say we give it some more, let's say we're giving this 40 dp, and the way we will do it is we will just place this at the extreme end, and we will specify the previous image with respect to this one. So let's just give it the id is equal to at the rate plus id slash say image view 2, and this image we just want to place it at the extreme right end of the screen. So we will specify its align Android layout align bottom, and we will align the bottom with the original image view we had at the rate plus id slash, and we will align it with image view. So we have aligned the bottom. Then we will say Android colon layout underscore parent align parent end. So what does it say? So this component will be aligned with the end of the parent, so which means it will now come to the extreme right. So with this image view will come to the extreme right. Let's specify some margins. So what will be the margin at the end of it? So let us say Android colon layout margin end, and let's give us some margin. So let's say 11 dp, and let us also specify what is the resource we are giving here. So we will say app colon src compact, and we will give it the value at the rate drawable and stop. So this is the resource we have shown here. So now what we have said is that the end, extreme right end, we have put this image, and we want the play button to be at the left of it. So it has aligned to the top, then it will be to the start of. So we will use Android colon layout to start off, and it is to the start of the image we had added. So it is to the start of image view 2. So we have defined it in that fashion, and what we are saying, let's just give it a margin. So we will say Android colon layout margin layout underscore margin end, and let us give us a margin of say 7 dp. So these are some designs we had made. So this has been specified as per those designs. And what is the image we want to show here? So let us use app colon src compact. So what is the source we want to show is equal to at the rate drawable, and we want to show the image as the player. So with this we have designed our XML, and with this design, so this is how our design looks like. So we have the image, we have the artist name, the song name, and the two images, the play and the source button there. So we have designed our image completely, and here we have not specified the image. So let us just go back to the text and have a look at it. The first, have we specified the image? No, we did not specify it, so let us just go ahead and specify the image we want here. src colon, sorry, app colon src compact, and the image we want to give is @drawable, and we want to give it, say, music1. So music1 shows the music. So let us look at the design again. So we have the music sign here, the song name and the artist name, and at the end we have our two functionality buttons. So with this we have designed our components that will go into the list view. So with this done, let us now move to the next step. So in the next step, what will we do? We will define a class, and this will be a class which will be for music. So let us go to Java, and here let us add a new Java class, and let's say call it music. And what do we do in this music? We specify the items with respect to each music. So we will say private string name. We will then say private, say, string artist, and we will attach the resource. So we will say private int song. So these are the three fields we require for a music, and what we will now do is we will just add getters and setters and a constructor. So let us go and generate. So we will generate a constructor. So we have generated the constructor for this class, and we will also generate the getters and setters. So we will, instead of typing it, we can just go to generate and getter and setter, and we will generate the getters and setters. So getters and setters will help us to get and set the value. So because these fields are private here, so we cannot directly access them. So the standard way is to define getters and setters, which is what we have done here. So we have defined the getters and setters for all the three fields. So with this we have defined our music class. Now let us move to our next element, which is where we need to define our custom music adapter. So let us add a new Java class, and let's say we call it custom music adapter. So remember, with list views we typically define our adapters, our custom adapters. So that is what we are doing here, and that will extend a base adapter. And we have defined our custom base adapter, and what will we do? We will generate our implements methods, and we have generated our implements methods. So some things we will now specify within our custom adapter. So there is a context we need for it. So private context, and let's say we call it context. What are the other variables we need here? We will need a private int layout. We will need our private array list. So this array list will contain elements of music, so it will contain all the music we want to show, and let us say call it array list. Then next we need a private media player. So we need a media player, so which we will use to play the music. So private media player, and we call it media player, and we have a flag, so which we will use later. So we'll just define it, private boolean flag is equal to, let's say, initialize it to true. Now with this done, we need a constructor for this class. So let us use the code generator to generate it. So we will generate a constructor. And what all do we want in that constructor? So we want the context, the layout, and the music to come. So the array list. So we have added the constructor and we have gotten our constructor. So get count, typically, as we know, it will show the number of elements. So array list dot size. Get item, we will not do anything. Get item ID, we don't need. And we will now define a private class, and let's say we define a private class, and let's say we call this class as Viewholder. And what does this private class have? It has two text views. So the text views we had defined in our the XML. So we have our text views, and let's say we call the text views as text name, and let's say we call it as text singer. And then it has the two image views that we need to act upon, the play and the stop buttons. So we have the two image views, and let's say we call it IV play and IV stop. So this view holder is what we are using for our view, and with that we get to our this method to be defined, the get view, which is the most important method. And inside this, let's start writing it. So we have declare a final view holder, and we have defined, say, call it view holder. So this is basically, so the view holder is to help us handle the custom element that we had designed in the XML. So now let's start defining it. So let's say if view is equal to null. So if view was null, which means we were starting off, so what will we do? We will say we will initialize our view holder also is equal to new view holder. Once we have initialized it, we will say now what will we say? We need to use something that we refer to as a layout inflator. So we will use a layout inflator now. And what will we do in the layout inflator? So let us define our layout inflator. So layout inflator, and let's name it layout inflator is equal to layout inflator context dot get system service, and we will pass it the parameter context dot layout inflator service. So this will inflate the layout that we had designed, and now with the we will say view is equal to layout inflator dot inflate, and we will pass it the parameter layout, and we will pass it the parameter null. So this is a typical thing we do to inflate our view. We had designed it in the XML, and now we have defined it here. So this will give us the piece that we were looking at, and now we will start using our view holder. So we will now say view holder dot text name is equal to, so we have defined it as a text view, view dot find view by id, and we will now say r dot id dot text view. Similarly, we will now get our view holder dot text singer is equal to, so exactly the way we used to do in our main activity. So we are now doing it, but because we are sitting in a view, so we are doing view find view by id r dot id dot text view 2. Similarly, we will do it to our image buttons. So we will say view holder dot iv play is equal to image view, view dot find view by id r dot id dot image view 3. That is what we had defined our play to. Let us just look back. So if we look back to the text, the play we had designed to, player was image view 3 and stop was image view 2. So now we will define view holder dot iv stop is equal to image view, view dot find view by id r dot id dot image view 2. So we have now run our inflator, so everything is inflated. So now the next thing, what do we need to do? Let's move to the next step, and we will set the view holder to the view. So we will say view dot set tag, and we will put the view holder in it. So we have added the view holder to the view. And if it was not null, what we will do is else we will say view holder is equal to view holder, and we will get it from the view, view dot get tag, and we will get it. So the first time we are setting it, we are inflating it, getting all our elements, and we are setting it. And if we had set it, we will just fetch it the next time. So now that we have done it, let's move to the next step. So the next step we will start defining, and we will now say final music, and let's say define a variable music is equal to array list dot get I. So we're getting the ith item from the array list, and now after we get the array list, we are now starting to set the values. So we will now say view holder dot text name dot set text. So we are now setting the text, and what will we set the text to? Music dot get name. Similarly, we will set view holder dot text singer dot set text, and we will say music dot get artist. So we have set both these fields here. Now on the buttons we need to put our listeners. So we will now say view holder dot iv play dot set on click listener. So now we are wanting to handle the click on the play button. So we will now say new view dot on click listener, and what will we do on the click of it? So let's say we will now put our flag, if flag. So if flag is true, we will, means we are starting for the first time, we will say media player is equal to media player dot create, and we will it the context, and we will pass it the ID of the song. So music dot get song. So this will pass it the resource ID of the song, and we will set flag to false. So the first time we are creating the media, so this will help us create the media for the first time. Then now we will use the media player. So if media player dot is playing, so if the music is playing, what will we do? We will say media player dot pause. So if we click on that button, what we are saying is we will cause a pause, and we will set the image resource viewholder dot iv play dot set image resource, and we will set it to r dot drawable dot player. So we will pause it, and we will just set the resource. And otherwise, if the media player is not playing, so what will we do? So in that case, what will we do? If the media player is not playing, we will say media player dot start. So we will start playing the media player, and next step what we will do is we will say viewholder dot iv play dot set image resource, and we will set it to r dot drawable dot pause 1. So we will change the image to a pause image. So this is how we have handled the player. So if the player was not created, we have created a player, and if it was playing, we will pause, and if it was not playing, we will play it. So we have handled this button. Now we need to handle the stop button. So let's say viewholder dot iv stop dot set on click listener new view dot on click listener. So exactly the same way we will handle it now. So what will we do in this case? If not flag, which means we have started it. So because the flag would have only been set when the play happened, so we will just click for flag, and if the flag is set, which means we had started playing it and the media player has been created, we will say media player dot stop, and we will media player dot release. So we are releasing the media player, and once we release the media player, we will set the flag is equal to true. So on the stop button, we are releasing the media player, and we will set the, because we have released the media player, we'll set the flag to true, and we will make viewholder dot iv play dot set image resource, and the image resource will now be set to r dot drawable dot player. Why would it be set to player? So that now you can again play it, because the song has stopped, so we can start playing it. And now that we have done all our work, we will just return our view. So we have now designed our this class, so which will help us take care of the adapter. So now we have defined our adapter, we have defined our music, and what is left now is that in our main activity we need to link it up. So let us now go to our main activity, and let us see what we will do in our main activity. So let us start completing our main activity. So couple of things we need to declare. So first let's declare private array list, and we need an array list of music, and let's say we call it array list. Then we need a private custom music adapter that we have defined here, and let's say we call it adapter. And we have a private list view, the list view that we have added, and let's say we call it song list. So because it's showing the list of songs. Now what do we need to do inside it. So first thing we will need to do is we need to initialize our song list from the, so song list is list view, find view by id, r dot id dot, what was the id? So there is no id, so let us define an id here, list view. Next step, let us create our array list. Array list is equal to new array list. It's an array list of music. So now that we have created our array list, we need to now add all our songs to it. So we will say array list dot add, and we will say new music. And what are the parameters? We need to give it a name. So let us say we start writing our songs. So ride, the singer of this song was 21 Pilots, and the resource was r.raw.21 Pilots. So we have added our first song. Similarly, let us add our next item. So array list dot add new music, and next one is say treat you better, and this is a song by Shawn Mendes. And let us add the resource r.raw.Shawn Mendes treat you better. Similarly, let us now add our third song, array list dot add new music, and this is 7 years. The artist is Lucas Graham, and let us add the resource r.raw.Lucas Graham. Let us now add array list dot add new music, and let us add this is the song Believer, and Believer is from Imagine Dragons, and let us just add r.raw.Imagine Dragons. And we will now come and add our final song, which is our array list dot add new music, and this is the song See You Again, and this comes from Wiz Khalifa, and let us add the resource for this song r.raw.Wiz Khalifa. Let us just add it again. There is some problem in this name. Let us just look at it, or let us leave this song out. There is some problem in this name. Maybe there is a space somewhere, so I'll just leave it out. So we have added 4 songs to it, and now that we have our array list in place, what will we do? We will now create our adapter. Adapter is equal to new custom music adapter, and what are the parameters it will take? This comma r dot layout dot music underscore item. This is the definition we had given to each item, and it will take the list of songs which is given in array list. And now that we have defined our adapter, we will just set it to our list view. So song list dot set adapter, and we will set our adapter. So this is the standard ListView coding that we have been doing all the time. So we have not done it. And with this, our first level of coding is over. So let us now go ahead and start compiling our application. And we will now start compiling it. And we will try and make it run. So we are getting Wiz Khalifa raw. So we are getting an error here, the same error. So let us just delete it from our raw resources also. So the same space issue. And let me compile it again. So the compilation is again happening. So no resources can start with a space. So that was the issue. So let us now start compiling it. It is building the system, installing the APKs. We know we need to be slightly patient while this happens. And with this, I will launch it. So the way we are going to run this app is I have connected a phone and the phone screen is now visible here. And now we can start playing it. So let me, I can stop it. I can go and play the next song. So we can stop it. We can play Treat You Better. And look at how the icons are changing. I can go back and play Believer. So this is how we have built a very simple music player, wherein we are showing the name of the artist, the songs, and with a play and pause button. So let us use the pause button now. So here it was a play. I have paused it, and it is now playing from the same point. You can notice that. If I press the stop button and play it again, it will start from the beginning. So hence we have now implemented a simple music player.